excited this morning to have us, the next generation, sharing with us about the rainwater harvesting, rainwater holding work that they are doing. And so the presentation is from a primary school called Poshayi. And Poshayi Primary School is located in Shurugwi district, which is in the Midlands province of Zimbabwe. This school is one of the many schools that are using permaculture as an approach to build resilience and sustainability. And as part of their permaculture work, they really focus a lot on holding water in the ground. And so this school is going to share about their work, and the presentation is in two parts. The first part will be a PowerPoint on what the school is doing, and the second part will be a video that shows one of the learners, Mercyleen Mujerimani, a grade 6 learner, sharing her story on rainwater harvesting. So in the first part, as Minnie has said, the school is out in the rural areas, and their internet connection is poor, and electricity blackouts are very common. So in preparation, they have sent us a pre-recorded video of Mercyleen Mujerimani giving a presentation, and they've also shared with us a PowerPoint, which I'm going to use to introduce to you Poshayi Primary School further. And what we are seeing now is the entrance to the school. You can see beyond the entrance, the very much productive land that is part of this school. And that productive land has been made possible through the rainwater holding work that the school has done. So we can move on to the next slide now. So this is the school before they embarked on the rainwater harvesting work. So you can see that it is very bare and very dry, and just a few scattered trees, but very, very unproductive landscape, because before they started the rainwater harvesting work, when the rain falls, it would basically just run off to the nearest stream and river, because they did not have any water holding structures in place to make this land more productive and to have good absorption of water into the soil, which would in turn support the plant life that the school needs in order to show the children how to produce food and improve access to food for the learners. So this is what they had before they started their rainwater harvesting work. Next slide. So as I've already indicated, Poshayi is a primary school which is in Shurugwi district of Midlands province in Zimbabwe. So right in the heart of Zimbabwe. This school is in a dry agroecological zone where there is not much rainfall. and the rainfall is concentrated in a few months of the year. So basically, most of the year, 8 months in total, this region is dry. So most of the year, they have a water deficit. And so it is critical that people in this region, agroecological region, make good use of the rainwater that falls in only 4 of the 12 months of the year. So we have water is a critical production factor in this agroecological region. Next slide. So now we see the learners at Poshayi School doing the work to transform their landscape, to transform the school grounds into a more productive landscape from the bare landscape that we had initially before they started this work. So, and as a result of rain water harvesting, the school eventually turned green and is currently producing a wide range of food plants, a wide range of medicinal plants. So the school is slowly becoming a food forest, thanks to their efforts to sink water into the ground, raise the water table, so that the plants that they are growing can have access to water all year round, and they can become more productive. So the school over the last few years has really been working to harvest rainwater and to make their landscape productive. And it's not just the landscape that is being transformed, it's also the minds of the parents, the teachers, the learners at the school, who are also having a mindset shift, so that they are now water-wise, they are now able to sink water into the ground and benefit their landscape, benefit their emerging food forest. Next slide. So here we see one of the rainwater harvesting structures that the learners made. This particular structure is called a mandala design, and it's a series of circular beds which trap the rainwater so that it has nowhere else to go but to get into the ground. So through this practice, through this technique, Poshayi Primary School is able to direct rainwater into the ground and stopping it from flowing away together with the soil, but allowing it to settle on the land and allowing it to seep nicely into the ground, raising the water table, which enables the plants to access the water. And Poshayi School also has a bowl, and through structures like this one, the school is recharging the groundwater so that their bowl will be productive all year round because of structures such as this that sink water into the ground. Next slide. So as a result of these rainwater holding efforts, the school has become very productive. You can see the learners standing just next to a papaya tree, which is looking very healthy. And in the background, you can see the food forest, and also in the near background, some herbs and vegetables that are growing, and thanks to the water holding efforts of the school. So these are the results of the rainwater holding work that the school is doing. And I just need to add that the school is not just having this very productive school grounds, but they are also adding value to the produce that is coming from the school grounds. So, for example, they have various medicinal plants that are processing into products that they are using for first aid, and to also supplement the health services for the community. So yeah, we have a very good story that has resulted from the water holding work done by Poshayi School. Next slide. So one of the learners at Poshayi School, Mercyleen, who is a girl in grade 6, is going to share with us a story about rainwater harvesting, and thanks to the school's commitment to innovative land use practices such as rainwater harvesting, the model that the school has created is now a central learning point for other schools in the district. And actually, the school is actually a role model, not only for the district, but for the province and for the country as a whole. For example, the school has actively showcased their work at shows in the area and also at national events. For example, at the end of last year, they participated in the Seeding Local Cultures Conference that was held in the capital city, that was showcasing action research by learners from different parts of Zimbabwe. And Poshayi was one of these schools that had a display at the Action Research National Conference that was held in Harare in December 2024. So at the end of this presentation, this is our last slide. I will introduce to you Mercyleen, who is being showcased in the video. So the school took a video of Mercyleen presenting on the rainwater harvesting work of the Poshayi Primary School. So in a moment, I will stop talking so that you can watch the video of Mercyleen herself talking about their work. So it's unfortunate that due to internet and the power challenges, they could not be able to present directly. Actually, we postponed this session from last week because of similar challenges. So we came up with plan B of the school sharing their presentation with us and also the video with us so that you can see firsthand what the learners are doing. So the video is opening up now. So let's take a moment to watch the video. And right in the middle there is Mercyleen Mujerimani, a grade 6 learner at the school. So over to you, Mercyleen.
A good day to you all, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mercyleen Mujerimani, a grade 6 learner at Poshayi Primary School. I want to talk about water harvesting. Water harvesting heroes. We harvest water at Poshayi Primary School. With ReScope Zimbabwe, we are cool. We are water heroes. Oh Mandala, my friends, round and bright, day and night, collecting water, pure delight. Water stored for plants to grow. Mandala beds help our flow. Swell, my friends. Swells collect drop by drop, helping gardens never stop. Water saved for rainy days. Swells help in amazing ways. Oh, mulch, my best friend. Mulch keep moist every day, conserving water in a special way. Saves water for plants to thrive. Mulch helps and stays alive. Oh, roof gutter, my friend. Roof gutters catch raindrops too, saving water for me and you. Roof gutters help our cause, collecting water with joyful pulse. Oh, fertility trench, my friends. Helping plants grow till the end. You hold the water and the soil too, making our garden beautiful and new. Oh, potholing, you are so cool, helping plants grow till the end. We will keep on digging and make you deep so our garden can be beautiful and new. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mercyleen. And so just to
yet brilliant trick to heat your home in 90 seconds will save thousands of pounds on your heating bill this winter. An ingenious way to heat your home without wasting money.
So thank you very much. So just to recap on some of the methods that Poshayi Primary School is using or are using, and what Mercyleen was sharing with us. So she shared with us a number of rainwater harvesting techniques that they are employing at Poshayi Primary School. So the first one she mentioned was the use of mandala bed designs. These are circular beds that trap water, which is trying to run off so that it has time to sink into the ground. And then the second technique that she shared with us, sorry, the mandala bed is now there. It was in their presentation PowerPoint. So that's the mandala bed design that the school is using as part of their water holding work. Thank you, Minnie, for flashing that. Then secondly, they are also using swells. And some people may know this as contour ridges. Some people may know them as dead level contours. So these are furrows that are dug along the contour and across the slope so that they stop the water from escaping down slope. And so the school is also using this technique to trap runoff and channel it into the ground. And the other technique that she mentioned was mulching, where they keep the ground covered so that they slow down the rain as it falls into the ground so that the rain will land softly on the soil. And when the rain lands softly on the soil, it has time to sink and it does not easily run off. Then she also talked about roof water harvesting, where she mentioned that they use gutters to channel water from the roof into storage so that the water can be used and it doesn't just flow away. She also mentioned the potholing method, where they dig pits in the ground so that the pits will hold water and allow it to sink into the ground. So just to recap on the methods that Mercyleen was talking about in the video. Now I think let's open up this to the floor so that we can discuss about this work. And I just need to say that this is work done by several schools in Eastern and Southern Africa that are part of the ReScope network, schools and colleges permaculture network. And this network is active in countries such as Zimbabwe, Malawi, Zambia, Kenya, Uganda, and Eswatini, and it is growing. So we can have some questions, and having non-Poshayi school for some time, I will be able to answer any questions that you might have. So any questions, comments that we would like to share, please feel free to come in.
If you raise your hand or just, if nobody's speaking, then please do ask your question verbally, or you can even put it in the chat, depending on how your network signal strength is.
Yeah, and whilst the questions are coming, those who are attending for the first time, please know that we welcome you, and you can put your contact details in the chat so that we can add you to our WhatsApp group. And we have these sessions every month, and then we can keep you posted about the future sessions. And if you do know of examples of very good water holding work, you can share with us, because this is a continent-wide movement to increase water literacy and to share on practices of water holding work. And we are open to learning from each other, and anybody's welcome to join. So if you are interested in being part of this movement, just share your contacts.
Yeah, I have a question for you, Walter.
Go ahead.
It's clear that from this marvelous work that this is a whole different model of education, where you learn from actually working with the land and seeing how water behaves. And it's obviously a model of education that is very different from how we treat education as simply the transfer of knowledge and as purely an intellectual exercise. And so the work that you're doing with ReScope seems to have an enormous dimension to it that is not just about water, but is about how do we teach, how do we learn? And funnily, I'm in Oxford at the moment, and I wish that Mercyleen could talk to some of the professors and educate them about what is water and how does it behave, and how can you improve its benefits by sustaining the moisture in the ground. So I'd like to hear more about how do you go communicate this model of education, of learning from nature rather than transmitting knowledge. How do you bring that out as a different model that education can use?
Yes, thank you very much for that comment and question. Yes, this is a real different model, because when you saw the picture of Poshayi at the beginning there, they were using this conventional approach where the education is highly academic, theoretical. It is classroom-based. It is teacher-centered and examination-oriented. And so that kind of education just focuses on the transfer of knowledge, as you said. But what we are seeing now at Poshayi and other schools is a different approach, which is hands-on, which values practical skills, lifelong skills, and we have experiential learning is the approach that we use in this. And so how we get it introduced is we just find schools that are interested in exploring, because as you can imagine, this kind of education is not yet in the mainstream curriculum in many countries. So we just look for schools that are interested, and they acquire this particular approach. We share with them, and then they just start doing it. And what we found is that when the education authorities visit such a school, they then listen to learners like Mercyleen, they listen to the parents, and when they hear it from the learners, they have no choice but to buy in. But we find that if we start by approaching the authorities, we usually find they have a mental block where they find it difficult to accept such an approach. But when the children live it, when the children inspire them about it, then they tend to listen, and eventually they soften up to this approach. And we are seeing some countries like Zimbabwe actually adopting this approach across the curriculum and integrating this approach in the curriculum. So recently, Zimbabwe has adopted what is called heritage-based curriculum, which is partly informed by the work that we are seeing in Poshayi school. So gradually, we are able to influence the policy using a bottom-up approach, where it is the children who now teach the policymakers how education should be like. So thank you for that very crucial question.
Yeah, I wish in England too we could get the children to say what education they wanted and to tell the policymakers. And how do new schools join ReScope? How do is that just by word of mouth then, or?
Yeah, it's basically through interest, and what is critical is the interest of the leadership, the school leadership. If the school leadership is interested, then yeah, we can link them up with schools like Poshayi, and we can also look for resources to capacitate them in terms of the skills that they need. This is a very knowledge-intensive approach to using the land, because it involves agroecology, organic farming techniques, and yeah, we can then help the interested school to adopt the relevant techniques that they need to transform their own piece of land. But having said that, the school will not need expensive inputs, because this approach is about creative use of local resources such as rainwater, which is free for everyone. And it's just a question of having the relevant technologies to maximize the use of the locally available resources such as rainwater. So yeah, that's how to go about it. And we are present on social media, various social media platforms for interested schools to be able to join our movement. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Walter. Thank you, Philip. Anybody else has a question that comes out of the work of the school and the presentation? While you're thinking, Walter or anybody in the audience, I have a question about the mandala form of rainwater harvesting, and it seems to me that that in a small space or in a smaller piece of ground, you can actually hold far more water through that circular design. Do you have any more information on, you know, is that really true, or where is it practiced more? Is it better than a linear system, or any more information about that particular design?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Minnie. I think other people can also come in on that, but yes, the mandala bed design is a very effective tool for harvesting water over a small area. So it's a tool that is very handy for gardens, for example. So in the ReScope schools, in their gardens, they use this design, and it is quite effective because yeah, every bit of water that tries to escape from this is captured by these circles that run around the garden. And so because you have slope is linear, it goes in a particular direction. But when you have got beds that are circular, that have ridges that are circular, then it means that it's practically not possible for the water to move down the slope. And it is kept moving around in circles. And during that time, the water is enough time to percolate, to sink into the ground and recharge. And yeah, it's a very common technique that is used in the ReScope schools and also by farmers who have learned this from their nearest school. So it's practiced in all the countries that are part of our network. And people have seen it so effective that they continue to use it in all their gardens.
Thank you, Walter.
And yeah, you can invite anybody else with experience on this to share.
Yes, I wanted to say something, Walter.
Who's speaking, please? Could you say again?
Yeah, for us in Uganda, that's the Afadi Uganda, we work with schools, but we find the mandala a very beautiful garden design for the children. The spiral movement or round shape in nature makes it very attractive for the children to operate. And again, the schools here use it in the compound, especially the courtyards, to act as a roundabout. So water normally spills inside the mandala, but also it controls traffic around the courtyard of the school compound. It's very effective in areas that are normally flooded. Normally on school compounds, we get flooded points, especially at the courtyard areas. So it's very effective at harvesting such a water. Thank you.
Thank you, Faisal. Charity, you had your hand up.
Yes, I just wanted to add, like the previous speakers somehow captured what I wanted to say. So the learners love to have creative, works, to have creative things and attractive things. So the mandala bed is one of those things that they really enjoy doing, and then it's out of the normal linear beds that they have been seeing. So you find that they are so interested when they are doing the mandala bed, and even the tertiary, school learners also find it very interesting, and they actually even build on with other, secular shapes of beds, because when they understand the concept of the mandala bed, then they create even what is something like that, so that they can hold their water and even just have interesting beds around them. So this is one thing that I find interesting, and also the learners find so attractive and nice to learn about. That's what I wanted to add. Thank you.
Thank you, Charity. Now, this question was originally asked by Dalind, so I want to ask Dalind, do you have any further questions around the mandala design of water harvesting, or has your question been answered? Dalind, are you there?
Thank you so much, Mary. Thank you for picking up on that. I think it has been very well answered. Thank you, Walter, for those explanations. This is one concept that I think we really need to broadcast and teach others. I see it's not very common, especially in the eastern side of Zimbabwe, except it has got another name that they give to it. So I see it is very effective, and it really works well. I actually have something to ask as well, Walter, on your presentation. On the gutters, the water that you get from on top of the rooftops, did you really see any change? And maybe how much water do you collect in any given rainy season, and how does it change? Did it change the landscape at Poshayi? Looking at Poshayi at Mercyleen's presentation.
Yeah, thank you very much for that question, Talent. Yeah, yes, gutters, they really create change. For example, looking at Poshayi School, there was a picture of some pawpaw trees. Those pawpaw trees are planted next to the classroom blocks. So just parallel to the walls of the classroom blocks, they've planted pawpaw trees, and also bananas. And the pawpaws and bananas, they are water-loving plants. So this water from the gutters, some of it is channeled into the pits where pawpaws and bananas are planted. And as a result, the pawpaws and bananas are growing very, very well at Poshayi School. And this is because they benefit from the roof water that is being channeled into onto the pits where these water-loving plants are planted. And some of the water from the roof, from the gutters, is also channeled into tanks so that it is accessed throughout the year when it is stored in the tanks. So that's some of the water. And yes, we know how much water we are able to harvest from the roof. And the formula for calculating the amount of water that we can harvest from the roof is as follows. So we measure the area of the roof, the surface area of the roof in square meters, the surface area of the roof in square meters. And then we multiply that by the amount of rain that we receive. And in the case of Poshayi, it's around 800 millimeters. So in one rain season, Poshayi receives 800 millimeters. So we multiply the square area, the roof surface area by the amount of rain per year in millimeters multiplied by 1 liter. So that gives us the amount of rainwater that we collect from the roof every year in liters. So that is an immense amount of water. If you look, for example, at a building that is 20 meters by 30 meters, 30 meters long, 20 meters wide, you will be able to harvest, for example, 10 million liters of water every rain season. So that's a massive amount of water that one can harvest. So it's possible to calculate the amount of water using that very simple formula: surface area in square meters multiplied by the annual rainfall in millimeters multiplied by 1 liter. So yeah, that's possible. So sorry. So for Poshayi, a building that is 20 by 30 meters, they would harvest 8 million liters of water every season. Yeah, thank you for that crucial question.
Thank you, Walter. Any other thoughts or questions arising from the work this school is doing? Yes, Zachary, welcome. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. I would say congratulations, Walter, for the presentation. I think this school is doing a wonderful job. Just to say that this is what Water School Africa is all about, identifying working cases, articulating on them, and then trying to replicate this. So it is the dream of Water School Africa. If just practices can be replicated all over Africa, so that the children can be able to learn, they can be able to produce food, they can also be able to maybe to showcase in their village and they replicate the same. So I think for me, I really appreciate this case because it's a case where you can see even young people like this lady is being empowered. So for me, just to comment that this direction we are going, and it's very good and very exciting. Thank you.
Thank you, Zachary, for that.
Yes, Zachary, do you do that work of, because it seems like it's only schools actually doing the work, like we saw, that is able to convince policymakers and authorities to change their way of learning. So Zachary, do you also reach into schools, or do schools come to your hub, ReScope hub?
We have one school that is doing that, although the project has not picked up, but it is a school near our office where they are also trying to change what we have now. We have a fruit forest they are picking up. But I would say also these practices that you have seen there, like the Mandaranganan, like the sunken bed, we have them at our water hub, because we have at ReScope we have a water hub where all the water that comes into the farm, it sinks into the ground. But there are many places in Kenya through this program by Walter, because we have he said that in Kenya we have schools who are doing this, so it is also a common practice in Kenya. But for ReScope, we have one school that is trying to come up with a project like that one. Although they say it has not picked up, but it's in our focus that we also make sure that they produce, they have these practices of sinking water into the ground, and also making sure that they use these structures to sink in the water into the ground and not letting the water run over, thus losing soil, causing soil erosion. But that's the direction we are going. Just for your information, what these schools are doing, they are promoting what we call permaculture. So when you promote permaculture, these are the kind of things you expect. It's only that for that program, they are only doing it in the schools, but even in communities, we are encouraging communities or those who have demonstration farms, they can also have these permaculture design programs, like the one even in ReScope here, we have a Mandala garden. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Zachary. Coming back to the fact that this is a whole schools network that Walter has introduced that are doing this work. It's of course, as increasingly as the world becomes drier, you need more and more people doing this work, and what better form of learning and teaching the elders to make the right policies than schools. So, Walter, a quick question before. No, actually, I'll hold on. Ubuntu Learning, would you like to go ahead first? Please ask your question. Do you want to unmute yourself and ask? Ubuntu?
Thank you very much.
Annie, yes, Annie.
Yeah, thank you very much for that presentation. Yes, it's very much interesting to see how much we can learn from the young people. I remember doing this kind of work for 3 years in schools. Actually, the idea of working with young people first, the parents, they learn more from them. That was my finding. And every household would replicate what the children are doing in their schools. And it's a good way of spreading the word to the communities. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you very much.
Wonderful observation. Walter, would you want to comment on that?
Yes, I just want to say that summarizes the approach that is used by ReScope, which is using schools as entry points into communities. So the schools are not the destination, the final destination, but the broader community. So this approach is called the whole school approach, where the school is seen as part of the community, and the school is a space where the community can learn new innovations such as water holding, and then that way the technologies can spread throughout the communities, because schools are natural centers in their community. So people in the community visit their local school for many reasons, apart from attending meetings and sometimes holding church services. They see their school as a local center, and so it's a good way of reaching out to farmers. And the beauty also of this is that if you go to a farmer and say, I want to introduce to you a new approach, the farmer will say, I depend on this land to feed my family. What if that new approach fails? My family will go starving. So farmers are reluctant to adopt innovations, but if they see something working very well in their local school, and the local school has no problem in adopting new innovations, because the land has been lying idle, the land has been used for ornamental purposes, so it's not that they would hesitate to adopt something new. So that's the beauty of working with the schools, is that they have land that is immediately available for innovation. So yeah, that's a very good comment from Annie there. Thank you.
And a very powerful one from Faizo, who says that schools also accommodate the present and future farmers. So the learning is not just in the present for farmers in the present who learn from the children, but also farmers in the future already learn when they are youngsters. And that's really a very powerful way of going into the future. Thank you for that, Faizo. Any observations or comments anybody else has on the work the Poshayi school is doing and its spread into the community? Any thoughts that come to your mind? Any thoughts in terms of how we can increase this work in schools and colleges, strengthen the work of ReScope and ReScope? Walter?
Yeah, thank you. I think what we normally say is that everyone is in a school catchment area. Everyone, no matter where you live, there is a school near you. And so we just encourage people to work with their local school. When you have got time, when you have got resources, just support your local schools. We find that schools sometimes become islands in the community where they don't use the many resources that are available in their community. So if and everyone is in a catchment area for a school, we encourage everyone to work with their local school, to support their local school, and to introduce this work to their school and encourage their school to network with ReScope schools. Yeah, so that's the message that we have for everyone.
What is the, you said there's a website of Scope with, what is that website?
Yeah, thank you. Let me put it in the chat so that we can have, and it's not just for ReScope, it's also, we also have the individual scope country chapters. They have their own websites as well. So I'm just typing in the one for ReScope, which is seedingschools.org. Is what I'm putting in the chat.
Thank you for that, Walter. While you're doing that, Faizo, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to echo on how we are also strengthening ReScope schools. In Uganda, Scope Uganda, we are integrating digital tools in the local schools, and we are empowering and strengthening the students, teachers with the digital skills, but also equipment for the benefit of the affiliate farmers. So schools act as a center, information centers within communities, and they are able to receive information on agronomy and markets and deliver it to the affiliate farmers. So the integration of digital tools is also very key.
I guess digital tools depends on the quality of the network connection as well. And so like today's presentation, we would have loved to have the children over here. And of course, as we go further into the digital world, more and more tools will become available, and it's very important. But there's also that layer of community which does not really do digital tools, but actually works on the ground. How do you spread that to happen more and more in addition, side by side? That's the starting point, and then digital comes side by side. Dalin, yes, you have your hand up. Please go ahead.
I would want to go back to the Poshayi presentation, Walter, and say, yes, I understand with what you guys are doing at ReScope, you are promoting so many facets of smart agriculture. But also noticing that water as a commodity, water per se, is a very important component in whatever production that we would want to talk about. Is there any deliberate move by ReScope as an organization to put a little more emphasis on water harvesting? Because look, without water, there's no production. Without water, we cannot be talking of gardens. Without water, is there any sort of emphasis from your side to say, let us all focus and look at the advantages of water harvesting, the advantages of water management? Is there that deliberate move?
Yes, thank you for that very pertinent question. And yes, ReScope realizes that we live in a water deficit environment, and it's critical that we have water if our land is to be productive. So in the realization of that, we are actually holding rainwater harvesting contest amongst our participants and beneficiaries. So in order to emphasize the critical role of water, we have an annual rainwater harvesting competition that really helps us to put the spotlight on water. And also even some of the country chapters have had projects that put the spotlight on water. For example, ReScope Malawi recently had a project where they were promoting what they called calabashes. These are big concrete tanks that are in the shape of a calabash that schools in Malawi are using to harvest rainwater. So yes, we do have deliberate efforts to spotlight the importance of water holding work and promote this throughout our network. That's quite an important thing that we are doing. Thank you.
Yeah.
So maybe this is a good time to say that and reiterate what Walter said at the start of the session, that this is the Water School Africa online session is a learning space, and it happens. We have these sessions on the first Tuesday of every month, and we try and bring organizations, people, communities, farmers, anybody who is doing innovative water holding work on the ground and spreading this action of holding water and regenerating their local areas with different ways and making their communities water and food rich. So if you have, please put in your diary the first Tuesday of every month. We do send the invite out. And if you'd like us to say, and haven't yet joined us and would like us to send it, then put your name and email in the chat. We also have a WhatsApp group called the Movement of Water Harvesting. We can invite you to join that if you want to learn more. And also equally importantly, if you know of somebody or if you yourself are doing interesting water harvesting work which has produced very beneficial and fruitful results for your community, do get in touch with us, and we can have a discussion on how to make this available for people to learn from or see and work with in time to come. It's been a really interesting session, thinking about how the next generation can teach our current generation, how the next generation can actually inform the kind of policies that they will then have to deal with when they become adults. So rather than us giving them something which we think that they already know and learn and can teach the elders to come up with policies, especially around land management and keeping landscapes healthy, communities healthy, what their perspective is. And that's really crucial and fundamental, because they are going to inherit the world we leave behind. So Walter, thank you so much for working all the schools network that you have, but also the very fact that bringing Poshayi's work into the Water School Africa session. I know it was a challenge. It's been quite a challenge because of the network issues, but we have a glimpse, a taster, a feeling of what these wonderful young children are doing and what we can learn from them. Any last thoughts and comments, Walter, that you would like to share with us on the school and your school's network and increasing this work, not just demonstration, but also that it actually increases the fertility and health of the communities that they are based in?
Yes, I just want to say that we find that in this region, we have high rates of stunting amongst the children, over 30% stunting. And we also have food insecurity. A lot of children come to school without having had breakfast. And so it is really important that schools teach children on how to produce healthy, nutritious food using local resources. And as part of that, it's important to empower the children and the parents with the skills of holding water in the ground. And you can see from the methods of Poshayi that Mercyleen shared with us, a lot of these methods don't require capital, don't require money. It's a question of putting structures on the ground that stop water from flowing away, sinking it into the ground, and that makes it easier to produce food. So I think this is a work that is needed across Africa, and schools like Poshayi are showing the way. And finally, I just want to thank Poshayi learners, Poshayi teachers, and also ReScope Zimbabwe, which has been supporting Poshayi Primary School for the excellent work that they are doing, and work that is now informing others and inspiring others to do the same. So yeah, thank you very much, Poshayi team, Poshayi learners, and more specifically Mercyleen, for taking the courage to share with us what she has learned as part of Poshayi Primary School. So yeah, bravo to you, and